Okay. You know what? I found out why it's not working. It's a different meeting ID.
Oh.
And it did not dawn on me because I looked at the calendar. The calendar invite has a meeting number. Yes. And then when I logged onto my husband's computer, it has a different meeting ID.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. That's why. Because it's not, for whatever reason, even though I'm logging in with my same Zoom credentials, it's not recognizing that I have a different, that's why it is up. Because I'm logged in and I thought, I wonder where they are. And then I said, that meeting ID does not look like the regular meeting ID. And I looked on the calendar, I'm like, holy cow, it's not. That's why they can't. It's not the same meeting ID. And is this too distracting if my voice and my face don't match? Because I can give you guys the new meeting ID and we can go to that meeting.
It doesn't bother to me. I mean, it doesn't matter either way.
Because there's a tiny little bit of a delay and I don't want that to be too distracting. How about this? Can both of you get on Facebook?
Yeah, I can get on Facebook.
Then what I'm going to do is, if I can do this real quick, I will put this meeting ID on Facebook. Otherwise, I'm just going to have to move on with our lives. Boy, you guys are angels for bearing with me. I had no idea it was two meetings. I'm like, it's my same login, it's my same email. Okay, I might skip it. If this doesn't bother you guys too bad. How bad is it for you, Cassie? Is it too distracting? Cassie, I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Now we can hear you. Is it too distracting, my voice and my lips?
No, that's okay. I can hear you.
Okay, since it's just the three of us, I don't want to hold this up anymore because I was so excited about the topic. And that is just the wildest thing, that I have two different Zoom meeting numbers. Okay, so let's jump back in. When you and I are first born, those first 7 years are like really critical. Now we're in a learning mode for those first 7 years called theta, Theta. And it's like a hyper super learning mode. And it's a very low level of awareness. So between that age of 0 and 7, you and I are observing everything. What mom does, what dad does, what sisters and brothers do, what our teachers do, our siblings, our friends. We're just like a human video recorder and we're downloading everything. Just like you and I would download stuff on our phone. Now, it's not all bad, right? Because we have to learn a lot of stuff when we're first born. We have to learn how to walk, how to talk, how to tie our shoes, our ABCs, our 1, 2, 3s. And so being in this theta mode is helpful. Except we download everything. We download everything. The good, the bad, we are programmed. And that can make sense because we have to fit into our family, we have to fit into our cultures. So we become like the people around us. It makes sense. We have to become a functional member of our family, a functional member of our culture. I want to share with you a great quote that I think really sums this up well. We are all tattooed in the cradle with the beliefs of our tribe. That actually kind of gives me goosebumps. We are all tattooed in the cradle with the beliefs of our tribe. I think this is why, when we wonder, why do families and why do cycles play out in certain families, multi-generational cycles? Because we are so entrenched with the behaviors and the attitudes of the people that we grew up around, especially that 0 to 7. It's why, and there was a study done, and we can pull the statistics on this ourselves. People have a hard time climbing out of poverty. because you are so deeply embedded with the mindset, the attitude, and the people of poverty. And even sometimes people who work really hard and try really hard, it's really hard to climb out of poverty. And that's why wealthy people can stay wealthy. You know, sometimes you'll meet idiots wondering how they got through college. It almost doesn't matter what someone, and I don't mean it like that, our behaviors matter, but that's that programming that we get from the people around us. It's hard to break free of that. Now we can. I just want to lay the foundation that it is difficult. It is super difficult to break those habits as adults. I mean, think about the things that we heard. I know you guys probably heard this. When we were kids, money doesn't grow on trees. Or better safe than sorry. You better clean your plate because there's starving kids in Africa. Money's the root of all evil. Those things happen, and whether we realize it or not, they really become a part of us. Don't talk to strangers. And most salespeople hate cold calling. So it's like, gosh, you know, we just become these things that are told to us over and over and over again. That's why. So if we're looking at why is it hard to change our behavior? Why is it hard to make new patterns? It's because those things that we grew up with being told by our parents, people that loved us, I mean, well-meaning people programmed us. And those things stick to us, not just because of that theta mode, everything's downloaded. There's another reason why I think it's hard for us to break free, and that's emotional. Sometimes when we find ourselves growing and the people that we loved and the people that we grew up with aren't, sometimes there's a whole mindset of you want to stay bonded with your tribe. And I thought about this a lot when I was writing the notes for this. I thought about this in regards to my dad's life. Now, my dad died about 9 years ago, and he was 65, and he died of cancer. And my dad was the youngest of 5 boys, and they grew up in really, really poor circumstances in rural Virginia. And my dad decided when he was 18, he left that town and he joined the Navy. And so being in that type of environment in the Navy, I mean, everything about your life changes. Your mindset, your attitude, everything drastically changes. And I can remember, and we saw my dad's family a lot as kids because we lived in Virginia and we would get in the family station wagon almost every summer and make that 7 or 8 hour car trip to rural Lynchburg, Virginia. So we grew up knowing our cousins, knowing our aunts and uncles. And I remember my dad saying once that his dad thought, my grandfather thought that my dad felt that he was better than everybody else. And that's not my dad's personality. It just wasn't the case. But when we grow ourselves and we become different than the beliefs that we grew up with, I mean, sometimes it's hard to not consciously want to grow. Sometimes, as you can see, if I grow, who am I leaving behind? So I think not only does our subconscious, not only is that an obstacle, I think like in my dad's case, sometimes that's an obstacle because every once in a while I think about it in my own life. If I grow to become all that I can be, who am I leaving behind? So sometimes I think we self-sabotage. I think all of us can probably look back at moments where it might have been the obstacle of me just sabotaging me. And I love what the Jesuits, I don't know if you've heard, they're the Jesuits, a religious group. For 400 years, they've had a saying that's validated this also. They'll say, give me the boy until age 7, and I'll show you the man. I'm going to put us in the gallery here. I wonder. Okay. No, that didn't help. That didn't help. Because now, am I frozen to you guys?
Yes.
Yeah, I was thinking that gallery mode might help my lips and my voice match, but that didn't really work either. So they had a saying because they knew that if we knew if we raised up a child until age 7, that's most likely who they're going to be. Because 95% of our lives and those around us that early programming, that's what plays out. I'm going to exit this view. There we go. I don't know about you guys, but I think that most of the time our programming is rooted in lack and limitation and fear. Some of the things that we were told, and again, these are by well-meaning people that love us, has just been in that better safe than sorry mindset, or that who do you think you are mindset, or what makes you think you can do that. And and now that we're all adults, it's reinforced by our culture lots of times. We look at social media and we look at TV, and we feel like, okay, if it wasn't our early programming, now we're being told by social media how we should look and the things that we should own and the things that we should have. But there is a way, and I've been reading and rereading Maxwell Maltz's book and other things, and there really is a way for us to break free of this type of pattern behavior and these types of programming thought. And that's for us to rewrite them. Now, ta-da, that's all you got to do is rewrite them. We can all go home. We can all turn off our computers and just rewrite our programming. I mean, that's pretty hard though, isn't it? So rewriting the program, what does that look like? Well, every thought leader that I've been reading about since I was in the Self-Image Mastery program last fall, the best way for us to rewrite our programming starts by being in the present moment. Now, again, that's not an easy thing to do. And if you think about it, remember, most of us have been to Bold, or you've heard other affirmations, and you do your affirmations in the present with the I am, right? That's how we all do our affirmations. That's because that's where the power is. It's not I will lose 10 pounds or I will be a mega agent. It's I am. And that changes our thinking. So, I mean, do we know a lot of people that are really able to live in the present moment? Do we have a lot of great examples of that? That's a tall order because there's so many distractions, right? So, but it's this lack of being in the present moment that keeps us stuck in the same old patterns of thought and the same old habitual behaviors. It's this not living in the present moment. And I want to share something that I found in one of my favorite books, The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. He writes an amazing sentence about the present. Now remember, we're talking about the present moment for now, because we all are here to grow ourselves and to improve our self-image. Not because of lack, not because of we're not great the way we are. We come here wanting to be better. And everything that we're being taught about how to do this is being fully in the present moment. I mean, I wish there was another secret. I wish there was another trick. And the more I look and the more I read, everything that I read comes back to this. The power to have a better life, the power to improve my life is by living in the present moment. And I think we sort of take that for granted. And it might even have become cliche by now, but I love what Eckhart Tolle said. He said, you can always cope with the present moment, but you cannot cope with something that is only a mind projection. You cannot cope with the future. You can always cope with the present moment. Because think about this. Now, when my husband and I had that car accident last week, before something like that happens to you, you can't even imagine, oh my God, what if I were in a car accident? I could never imagine that. Your mind starts projecting about a future scenario and you can't even wrap your mind around it. It's so scary. It's so horrible. Now, when those kind of moments happen, we were dealing with it. There wasn't an option and we dealt with it and we've been dealing with it and now it's a week later. This idea that you cannot cope with the future really hit me hard when my dad died. So we knew that it was coming. The doctor told us, my dad went in for surgery on September the 1st. He had a tumor, a mouth tumor. And he went into the hospital for surgery on September the 1st, which was, over 10 hours. And he never recovered from that surgery. He went from the hospital to a rehab recovery center. And at the time, my mom and my younger sister were still living in Jacksonville, Florida, and me and my older sister were living here. So my mom told my older sister and I, hey, we're going to have this meeting with the doctor if you guys can drive here. for that. We said, of course. So we were all in Florida on November the 2nd. And the doctor looked at us and said, there's nothing we can do. There's nothing we can do. It's just, he could live on this machine forever or be gone in a few days. And then he died on November 21st, just a few days before Thanksgiving in 2010. And I remember that time, that November 1st, when the doctor said, there's nothing we can do, until he died on November the 21st, I was trying to mentally prepare myself. I was thinking about, oh my gosh, okay, we really got to be there for my mom. We really got to be there for my younger sister. How am I going to do this? I was trying to prepare myself so much in advance. And my mind couldn't cope with it. Now, when the worst happened, and my dad passed away, and there was a funeral, there were all the people at the house, and all the things you go through, we got through it. And so what Eckhart Tolle says is so beautiful. And it's actually just true. You and I spend so much time thinking about the future, but our mind can't ever cope with that. And see, our conscious mind, so we'll leave the subconscious mind for a second. Our conscious mind can be our best friend or our worst enemy. So when our conscious mind is being our best friend, why this is coming up my screen. Okay. I'm trying to get this little box. I don't know if you guys can see this box that popped up on my computer. I'm just trying to get it to go away if you could. So our conscious mind can be our best friend when we're being creative, right? You and I think all of you are women of faith. You and I co-create our lives with God. That's just how it is. And when we're in that creative present moment mode, we're writing down our goals, and we're thinking about all the things we can be, do, and have in this life, and we can design our best life. That is gold. That's where the power is. That's where the transformation is. It's just too bad we don't live there most of the time. What happens to us a lot is that drunk monkey or that ego mind just starts talking and talking and talking and talking. That's that voice in our head that does not shut up. That's that voice that is criticizing and judging and blaming and complaining and fault finding and comparing ourselves to others. It's running amok. It's wreaking havoc in our lives. It's that voice that never stops talking. When our conscious mind goes down that path, that drunk monkey, that ego, we slip right back into our same old thoughts and patterns that don't really serve us. You know, we wonder why it's so hard to change and why it's so hard to think a new thought. And it's tough to think a new thought because we don't practice staying in the present moment. Because if I stay in the present moment, I can decide, and we talked about this when you guys in Peachtree City had your award ceremony 2 weeks ago when we talked. If I stay in the present moment, I can decide that if somebody praises me, or I get an award, or I get any type of recognition anytime, I can just decide to say thank you. And I can just decide to smile and be grateful and be okay with that. When our ego mind or our drunk monkey takes over, it's the, who do you think you are? Or she got an award and it should have been me. It's all of those things happening that most of us have experienced at some point or another. That's just why staying in the present moment is everything, because that's where we have the power to choose. That's where we have the power to change. Now, do you ever find yourself worrying or anxious or stressed? Right? We all have done that. That means you're too much in the future. And when we're thinking about regrets and we're thinking about guilt and anything that we might be in resentment about, that's in the past. The transformation of the self-image and our mindset in our lives is really in the present. And remember when we were kids and we learned how to ride bikes. And remember being outside and falling off your bike. And if you were like me, you fell off your bike a lot. And I scraped up my knee a lot. And I just remember being in the present moment. Like I was going to learn how to ride that bike no matter what. Imagine if we had been kids learning how to ride a bike and we were showing up in judgment. And maybe we did a little bit, right? Like if I fall off my bike too many times, like, oh, I can't believe I'm doing this. Think about if we never were able to just forget that and get back on the bike. I mean, no matter how many times I fell off, my dad just kept saying, get back on the bike. And wasn't it the same we learned how to drive a car? Oh my gosh. And I remember now, I don't know if you ladies know, I've been playing piano for about 6 years now. And I can honestly tell you that if I don't show up fully present with my teacher in my lessons, it is impossible. And there have been moments, because we're adults, we have a lot going on. There have been moments I show up like that. Not many, because I'm frustrated when I can't do what she's telling me to do, when my fingers don't land the way they're supposed to land, because I am not in the present moment. The only way that I've been able to make progress in piano is being in the present moment and repetition. Because I didn't learn how to ride a bike in a day, and I promise you, piano, that has been years in the making just to learn how to play simple songs, because I have no natural music ability. So it's been years in the making. I say all this because I, like you ladies, am working on myself. And when I get frustrated about my behavior, or why am I thinking the same old thoughts that don't serve me, really I can just point and say, I am stuck in my own ego thinking. I'm either judging myself, I'm judging somebody else, I'm comparing myself to someone, and I'm out of this moment. And if I want to change the way that I think about my life and the way I think about myself, I have to make a choice, and I can only make a choice in the present. I can't make a choice living in the past, and I can't make a choice obsessing over the future. And to really transform our self-image, that is like the biggest message that I wanted to bring tonight. I wanted to dig in and say, how do we really do this? And I'm always hoping I read something new on the internet. Maybe there's a pill I can buy on Amazon. It's just about living in this moment. And because of all the distractions in our society, this isn't talked about. This isn't praised. People don't get praised for living in the moment. You get praised for your 15 minutes of fame, even if you're embarrassing yourself. We don't get our culture, unlike Far East and other cultures, especially I think in the Far East, they really have this one kind of down. They take time to meditate. They take time to be in this moment. And as much as I love our country and I love where we live and how we live, there's some not so great things as far as ideas about self-improvement. Some of our values got messed up, but I still think we live in the greatest country ever. We just have to reclaim what's really important to us. And I think that working on ourselves is a lifetime. I hope to never be done. If I live to be 90, I hope that day I'm 89, I'm still working on myself. But I know that the best message I can give you ladies tonight was, when we think, God, how am I going to do this? How am I going to build a better me? First step, I got to be in this moment. And I got to practice. So I can't say my affirmations once and wonder why they're not working. I can't say them for a month or 6 months and wonder why they're not working. It is a complete daily work in progress, because we didn't have some of our beliefs. Each of us have different beliefs that don't serve us. That didn't happen overnight. So we're not going to rewrite the program overnight. And just by you ladies, showing up and participating, you're making a step in that direction of further personal growth, because I'm talking to people that believe in growth, or otherwise you wouldn't be here. So you're making that continuous step into personal growth. And so let me stop and let me ask you, what are your thoughts about some of the things I've covered tonight, or ahas or questions? You agree, you disagree? What do you think?
So I have a big aha moment with the bike story you told. when I was learning to ride a bike, my parents got so sick and tired of trying to help me ride a bike that I decided to take it up on myself to teach myself. And there were two cars parked, like kind of like this in the driveway. And I started and it was kind of on a little slope. So I started at the top and I would hang on to the car as I was getting my balance. And that's how I learned to ride a bike. I taught myself. And the mentality of that, the mentality of, I'm going to learn this and nothing's going to stop me. And then I also have rode in several MS 150s on a bike, and I actually clip in with cleats into my pedals. And when I was first learning to do that, I can't tell you how many times I fell over. I got so sick and tired of falling over that I just told myself, you're going to will yourself that you're going to be able to come out in time and put your foot down, and you're not going to fall over. And I just said that to myself. And the first one, MS 150 I didn't fall and crash. So I like to take that concept and apply it to other areas of my life where I get chicken, or I get that fear of not trying something, and just say, by golly, I'm going to do this until I get it right.
And as kids, Tanya, it was so easy for us. Not easy, it was easier. Because and this resonated so much. I think in every bold I've heard this, as adults, we want to look good and be right. And boy, is that true. It's hard for us to walk into something knowing that we might not be great at it.
Well, and when I was 8, there was no judgment. So right. Why is there judgment now?
Right. And even tonight, I was like, oh my gosh, I grabbed my husband's computer in plenty of time before tonight so that I would not have this whole tech issue. And who knew now was the time for the Windows update? And I was starting to lapse into judging myself. And that's when I get knocked on. And I said, you know what, Regina, this is not that big of a deal. It's not that big of a deal. Just calm down. It's okay. We do not want to look bad. And it's not out of just vainness. We're adults. And even though we're fortunate to be at a company that says scale forward, it's not always that easy to embrace. It just isn't. It isn't. But as kids, we did. As kids, we embraced it. We were babies learning how to walk. Did we judge ourselves? No, we just kept walking, fell on our butts and kept going. Scraped our knees, kept going. And I thought when you said if you could just apply this to your life, I can't tell you how many times I've been sitting at the piano thinking, if I could just apply this to my whole life, I would be on to something. I'm writing a book. Because sitting at that piano to learn anything requires that I fully show up and stay out of judgment. Whenever I have had too many things on my mind and walked into a piano lesson and carrying all that, it didn't go well. And if I started beating myself up with, why can't I get this? That didn't go well. So most of the time for piano, I didn't show up that way. I showed up in present awareness and I showed up without judgment almost all the time, because that's the only way that I could move forward. And it just amazes me how in the rest of life, that's hard sometimes. It's so just amazing thing. Yeah. Yeah, who else has something? Why is it so hard to stay in the present moment? That is like a key that unlocks so many things, especially with mindset and self-image, and it just eludes us. In our culture, we're not on top of that. What do you think, Cassie or Tanya Anderson?
I think it's just hard because sometimes I feel that way, like, oh, I know I can do this. But then as you start to actually try to do the actions, you start to second guess yourself and you think like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing, or you just get those negative thoughts, and it's hard. And especially I have 2 young kids, so having how you're talking about how those beliefs get brought into you when you're younger, it's tough for me now because I'm like, well, I don't want to tell them anything that's going to affect them that way too. So it's hard just to know. It's just hard to know what's the right way to say to someone to help them grow and make sure they're not going to have those negative thoughts growing up.
Yeah. I mean, when I think about how I've been looking into this whole theta about the young kids, and I'm like, wow, people just don't realize that. I didn't fully realize that. The mark that can be made on children at that super young age, because then we spend a lifetime trying to shed some of that. And it's not because our parents were bad people. It's because they just didn't know better. And we really can change. It's just such work. We didn't get that way overnight. We're not going to unget that way overnight. And I just appreciate that you're here with two small kids. I didn't even realize that. How old are your kids?
My son is 8 and my daughter's 5.
Wow. And why was it important for you to carve out some time to be here with us?
Just because I definitely want to work on myself, and I sat in your class and it just really affected me. I want to be a good example for them, and I just want to grow myself, and I just don't know how to go about changing those negative thoughts and the things that you have, that they really do affect you your whole life, and to just figure out how to go about changing those thoughts, get back to where you can grow and you can do what you want to do and achieve what you want to do.
I mean, we really can grow. And that's a cool thing to say. And it's a hard thing to say because if I can grow forward, that means, I'm responsible for everything that's happened up until now. And I think not anybody in this group, I think that people in general have a hard time with that one. Like, wow, I've created the situation I'm in. I wanted to blame my mom or my dad or the economy or wherever we are in our lives is largely because of us. And that's powerful because then we can undo it. We can rewrite the scripts. We can rewrite the programs. It just won't be overnight. And I think affirmations are a great place to start because our affirmations have to be present moment. So do you ladies, and I might have asked you this, do you ladies say affirmations regularly now, like daily?
I have not done.
Okay.
I did when I was in mold, and then
Okay.
after I got out of mold, I fell off.
Mhm.
So that's something I have to work on.
Boy, we fall off the wagon out of bold, don't we? Now, Tanya Bird, do you say affirmations?
I have a list hanging in my office, my affirmations. I'm not in a good habit of saying them daily. However, they're there, and when I was going, we were talking about the little downward spiral I went in yesterday. Like some of the, I feel like I need to add more affirmations, right? I feel like I have to start asking myself, if I'm having a bad mindset, am I playing victim here or am I accountable? And now I've got a new one. Am I in judgment of myself?
Right.
or not? Because then I can switch that mindset very quickly. And when I realized I was playing a victim role yesterday and kind of going in a downward spiral, I was like, where am I going? I'm going down the wrong path. What do I got to go down the path that I'm intended to go down. So yeah, I think it's catching yourself saying those negative things and then reminding yourself what your affirmations are.
And I'm the same way as y'all. So that was going to be one of my big things that I did during our group that I haven't done. So today being February the 13th, let me look at my calendar. Yeah. And I was thinking to have a group next week, but have a little bonus or a side group for those of us that were not going to family reunion. And then have another major 1 in 2 weeks, because coming back to family reunion on Tuesday or Wednesday, it's just going to be tough. So I'll meet with those that are still in town. How about if we do this though? Since you guys who are on tonight, what about if we committed family reunion, no family reunion, whether it's Sunday, whether it's Friday, what about if we committed to saying, because it takes 5 minutes or less, and it could be practically, first thing in the morning, but really anytime, if we committed to saying our affirmations. And I've got 5 good ones I was going to add. So anywhere between maybe 5 and 10 really strong affirmations that are powerful for you. What about if we agree to do those? And then we could talk about it in 2 weeks on the 27th. Am I right? Yes, the 27th. And those of us who are in town, I'm going to send out an email that we can do some work on that and a couple of other things. So that even if you're going to family reunion, commit to saying those affirmations with us. Yeah. And it's a funny thing about family reunion, because this is my first year not going in a while. And I think I was talking to you on the phone, Tanya Bird, one time, and I was talking about how, it was not an easy decision for me to come to. And last Wednesday, oh my gosh, so we had our award ceremony in our office, and we were all hanging out in the cafe having a nice lunch. And I was just getting that peer pressure, right? It was like a pile-on moment. And people are offering me, I'm like, I don't have a room. You can stay with me. I don't have a plane ticket. Oh, a bunch of us are driving. So it was everything being answered. And I had to catch myself because I almost gave in. I love going to family reunion. I get something out of it every time. I had to be really careful this year, and I want to be a great steward of my time and of my money. And knowing that I have the John Maxwell event coming up in early March, and I'm gone for a whole week. So that would have been just 2 weeks after family reunion. So I made a very conscious decision. Okay, I'm not going to go to family reunion this year, and I'm going to have to be strong. And I almost caved last week because the peer pressure was so great. They were having such a good time harassing me about it. And I started to think about my mindset and my self-image. Was I going to have FOMO because I'm not going to family reunion? Okay, I had a little bit of that for a moment. Whatever we're trying to do and accomplish in our lives, you have to stand firm in your decisions. And I think that affirmations and prioritizing not to go to family reunion and be able to stand by that, I had to heavily prioritize because I almost gave in. And now maybe the greater good of that, maybe in God's plan, I'm not up to going now. I'm not up. After the car accident last week, we're physically doing better, but I still have a little bit of pain in my shoulder. My husband, he's here and there. He hasn't driven this whole week yet. We haven't gone out and bought a new car yet. So I'm grateful now that I'm not going in the grand scheme of plans because I stuck to this. I didn't let my ego say, Virginia, you're going to miss out. You're going to miss out. They're going to have a good time without you. All those things my personality wants to go back to thinking and being attached to. I had to let that go. And I had to make priorities based on what's important to me, even though I'm lucky in the reunion. I've gotten so many great things out of it. And I've had such a good time with so many good friends. I knew this year I had to do something different. And so that's hard. It's hard on my self-esteem because I don't want to miss out on the fun. I'm a high. I don't want to miss out on the fun. I don't want to miss out on the people, the learning. It took prioritization. And I think that's what it takes in order to transform our lives. If I wanted to go spend all this money and spend time and then think, oh my gosh, real estate is not really my one thing. And I told myself I wasn't going to do that. That's kind of like what happens in our lives when we say, I'm not going to have the same line of thinking, or I don't want to react the same way. We finally have to prioritize. Okay, this is who I want to be. These are the affirmations I want to say every day, or I want to pause so that I can react better to circumstances that usually trigger me or people that usually trigger me. It's prioritizing. It is knowing in advance what we're going to do. I remember, gosh, has it been 7 years, almost 7 years ago, I gained some of the weight back, but I was quite a bit heavier. And so that year in 2012, it was the summer of 2012 it started, I went on to lose about 35 pounds before the year was over, starting in about July or so. And I went through weight loss. I don't think I could have done it on my own, which is maybe why I'm not having that much success right now, because I'm trying to go it alone. It was prioritization. It was priorities. It was, I want that cheesecake so bad. What's my priority? And I think when Cassie made a good point about, I don't, you know, how do you change this? How do we make this happen? It starts with knowing this is what I want to be, or this is what I want to do. This is what I want to have. And here's the pathway. So if I wanted to lose 30 pounds, I wasn't going to get there eating the same old chocolate cake. I wasn't going to get there because I mindlessly grabbed chips while I'm watching TV. I had to be mindful of everything. I was exhausted the first few days because I had to think so much. And then it just became routine like anything else. And now I said, like, how did I do that? Why am I struggling? Well, I'm struggling because I'm trying to go to work. So I think I'm going to have a come to Jesus meeting and just go back to them and just spend the money because it was well worth it. And I think that is like this. And the same example I gave about family reunion and prioritizing not going. So I think one of the things I'd love to see us do is commit to 2 weeks between now and we can all be together on the 27th. And I'll send out an email, put something on Facebook. For those of us who are not affected by family reunion, I want to talk about self-image and lifestyle. And I want to say that for the whole group too, but I've been wanting to do a bonus exercise. And again, we'll do that with the whole group. I've been wanting to talk about self-image and lifestyle. So as we start to close, because I don't want to keep you ladies too much longer, let's start thinking about our affirmations and be ready to go. And if you can say them tonight before bed, say them tonight before bed and every day. And then when the whole group is back together after family reunion, and I'll post this and I'll email this, let's talk about who was able to say their affirmations and what that felt like. Because I don't know about you guys, but when we were in bold saying them, it felt good after a while. And it's that repetition. It's the repetition. We learn how to ride a bike because of repetition. We learn how to add, subtract multiplication tables because of repetition. We didn't do it once. We had to keep on doing it. Our teachers, our parents forced us. They forced us into this. And that's how we made it happen. And as adults, you know, we're not held accountable for growth. And that's why I think that's the number one reason outside of the present moment. No one's watching us about our growth, really. You know, but when we didn't do our homework or we didn't know how to add or multiply or we were lacking something there, or our parents, our teachers, they were all over us. Who's all over us now? That's why I applaud when you come to class or when you sign up for something like this that requires your time, that requires your money, that requires your investment of you. That's one of those powerful things you can do. Because now you're saying, I don't have my parents or my teachers. I got to still be accountable and responsible for my growth. So that's why I love when you guys show up. So that's what I'll do. So just so we're on the right track, next week I think it'll be too hard to have a full group session because of family reunion, but I will do something for those that are in town. We're going to talk about self-image and lifestyle, and we're going to loop the whole group in on that conversation later because I think it'll be interesting if we have just a couple of us to really start this conversation up. And let me plant this thought. When I say self-image and lifestyle, you see this on Facebook, let me plant this thought in you. How is your lifestyle affecting your self-image or your self-image affected by lifestyle? Do you have to have certain clothes? Does your house have to look a certain way before people can come over? Do you have to look picture perfect before you will be in a photo? How do those things play out? Those lifestyle things play out every day with our self-image. We're going to start talking about that. And we're going to talk about affirmations, and we'll all come together and finish a conversation about those things. So that'll be what I'll email and post on Facebook about to catch everybody up. And what other insights or ahas or questions? Tanya Anderson, you're out there, and we saw your beautiful face for a couple of minutes. But if you have anything to contribute, or any of you, as we go to wrap up, would love to have your thoughts on how this whole subconscious thing, the material I gave you tonight, how the present moment. What do you think? Any final words from any of you ladies?
Regina?
Yes.
Can you see me?
I can.
Okay.
Yeah.
I keep having trouble logging in. I don't know why.
You have no idea the trouble I had before you landed here, my dear. And my drunk monkey and my ego they were going crazy.
Yes. Well, I was just going to say that, you know, my aha moment tonight in hearing everybody's, you know, beliefs and feelings and emotions is that, you know, I think that would be great. We do need to say affirmations. I don't, you know, we all fake it. We walk day to day, you know, and trying to do the right thing. And I think for me is being more decisive. And like you said, you wanted to go to a family reunion. You almost did. Well, that's your I, because I'm a high I, and we can't help it. We're like, we're straight and narrow down the path, and then somebody says something, whoop, we can go this way. So I think for me, in growing what I'm trying to accomplish for 2019, and is why I took your classes, I know, and I am more decisive. That's going to be what I'm going to say. I am more decisive. I can do this. I can make some decisions, and I'm going to, and that's just it. And sometimes I always doubt, well, you know, you don't want to overstep or da-da-da. Well, no, this is for your team. You're doing this for your team, or whatever it is that you're doing it for. So I think for me, the aha is I am more decisive. That's what I'm going to say every night until we meet again. And I'm going to continue saying decisions are going to come easy for me because they're not. So
I love that. And you know, Tanya, what I find so fascinating about you, when I see you post on Facebook about your success and about your logo, and there was the one that you chose was phenomenal.
Yeah.
I always think, and even when I saw Tanya Bird's YouTube video, Facebook video, I thought, wow, such strong, powerful women. And I thought, isn't that interesting? Because I have shared stories and people thought, I never would have thought that from you, Regina. What I love is, if I was still in my same old way of thinking, then I would have said, oh, well, that person has it all together. It's yes, we do, and we're still growing. You know, we're not here because we're broken. We're not here because we have it all together. We're here because, yes, we're great, and we want to continue to grow. And
yes.
I love seeing people that I think are like, wow, they have it together. And then they share great stories. I remember I was at the Melville Market Center and I shared a couple stories. And afterwards I said, what are your ahas? And somebody said, I can't believe that you've ever thought that anything, you know, negative about yourself. And I said, I'm like you. You know, I'm a work in progress, the same as you. And they were like, we thought you were done. No, I'm not done. No, you can stick a fork in me. I'm not done yet. And so they were like, we just thought you were done, Regina. No. Because I was telling the story about teaching at night and how I had to tell myself every night that I was worthy to do that.
Yes.
And they just, because some of those agents I've known a long time, like I've known some of the agents at Sugarloaf. And so they were like, that just blew my mind. What do you mean you had to say out loud to yourself over and over again that you were worthy to be the Ignite teacher? What do you mean you just didn't think that? No, I didn't just think that. And it just means we're all growing. And so I love that, because it constantly knocks down that story that, oh, look at so-and-so's Facebook. Or you see them for a moment in the office and they got it all together, don't they? No. Mm-mm. We have
we're all human.
That's right. And we're works in progress. And that's what I love. I love being a work in progress. I don't want to be done. I want to be better every day. I just don't want to be done yet.
And that's what I tell my kids. I'm like, you know, sometimes you take 2 steps back, but that's okay. You're going to take 10 steps forward because of that. And you're going to grow and learn. And I think it's just important to continue with knowing who we are and practicing. And like you said, the golfer Tiger Woods doesn't get out there and shoot under par because he never swings a golf club. And so, which I love golf, so that's why I use the golf analogy. But, you know, we have to practice at this. We have to.
So we're
going to get better.
Right. All four of us said, oh, I'm not doing my affirmations like I want to. I'm admitting this too. Since this class started, we were out in LA, got home for 3 days, had a car accident. I'm not saying my affirmations the way that I wanted to since we started. And that's why I'm like, I want to issue this affirmations challenge, at least for the next 2 weeks, that at least the four of us, and I'll post it up about it on Facebook so the others can join us and we can talk about what we learned. I'll tell you guys this quick story, and then I want to hear last moments from you. So stay with me for a moment, because I was in a Think and Grow Rich study. It was an online study, not on Zoom, but on free conferencing. And one of our assignments was every day for 10 days, you had to read the chapter on persistence. You think that's pretty easy. I'm going to read the chapter on persistence every day for 10 days because Paul, our mentor, who came up from complete poverty to his fourth multi-million-dollar company, is saying this is what his mentor told him to do. He's telling me to do it. I'm going to do it. And if you didn't read it, if you missed the day, you have to start all over again. That was the terms. I can't even tell you how many times I had to start all over again. And other people in the group, because there were hundreds of us in this program, and we had a community Facebook page. We would post on there, oh my God, I'm starting over again. We had to start over. So I must have read way more than 10 days in a row because I had to keep starting over. So I could almost quote that chapter to you. And he wanted to show us the power of consistency and persistence. And how when we think we're okay, sure, I can do what I'm told. Sure, I can do that. That's easy. Maybe it's easy, but we still have to do it. And so saying our affirmations, we're like, yeah, it's just speaking some affirmations. I can do that. And then yet the four of us are finding that we're not doing that. And that's a necessary step. And that is a necessary step in re-engineering our self-image. And we're not fully engaging in that process. So I say that's the big challenge for right now. I'm going to post an email also about the lifestyle. How does your self-image and your lifestyle coexist? Because it's sometimes we're like, wow, I don't want to take a picture if my hair isn't perfect, or, yeah, I like to have different things for certain reasons. I mean, my stepson, whom I love him very, very much. He's out of college. He's 28 years old. I love him. He grew up that way to some degree. And he's come a long way in that. But he was self-admitted he needed to have certain things so his image was such. And he's really come a long way on that. Yeah, it's the culture, He's 28 years old now. He was born in 1990. So he grew up in all of this social media, Facebook, labels, 15 minutes of fame stuff. And it was very hard for him to combat that. He's like, well, Regina, you have a Coach bag and Kate Spade, and you have a Lexus. Yeah, but here's the question. They don't have me. They don't have me. For all my faults, I own that stuff. And if it left me tomorrow, I might cry for 5 minutes. And then I would be like, right. I cry for a few minutes. Let's just face it. When you have nice things, you lose them. However, they don't define me. They don't define me. And it's hard. This is a tough culture for those things to coexist in. It really is. And our kids, our young people are fighting that battle. And we as adults, grown women, we're around other grown women, sometimes within ourselves, sometimes certainly we can see this in other people. They're fighting this battle. Yeah, so we're gonna dive into that too, because I want us to really kind of be honest about these things that we own. Do they own us? Yeah, because our self-image is wrapped into being perceived a certain way. Yeah. So it's 12 after. You guys, why don't you guys round out? I'm going to finish talking so I can get your last thoughts and then say goodbye. So what did you guys think overall of information or something specifically? You guys have spoke to a couple things, which has been great. Anything else before we close?
Well, I just like how you held strong and you're not going to family reunion.
I'll tell my husband that you said that because I just saved us a boatload of money.
Yes. Well, I think that sometimes we have to set boundaries, right? And it's kind of like when I got the phone call that said, are you going to renew for the Women Council of Realtors? that is not in my budget or my plan this year. And the high I wants to say, sure, I'll do it. But I had to say, no, this is my boundary. I don't have the money to go towards that because I want to accomplish other things. And that's not what I want to focus on. So it's not that I don't enjoy the Women Council of Realtors and the women that are in it. It's just not the direction I want to go in. So I think we have to, as high eyes, I'm a high eye as well, learn to say no and that it's okay. People aren't going to hate you.
Right. I'll tell you guys a story toward the end of our time together in the next couple of weeks or so about having to say no. And it's hard, really hard. So Cassie or Tanya Anderson, lovely ladies, any parting words? I love that you said that, Tanya. Thank you, because you know my pain.
Well, Regina, are you going to send us out affirmations that are we just going to come up with our own, or
you're going to come up with them on your own, and then for bonus, you can share with us what they are if you'd like.
Okay.
I'm going to post that on the Facebook page too, that we're going to do this affirmation challenge. We're going to see who was able to go through, not because we're competing, but it's just like that darn chapter on persistence when I was in that Think and Grow Rich Mastermind study. So I was like, read it 10 days straight. If you miss a day, you got to start all 10 days all over again. I can't even tell you how many of us had to keep starting all over again. So it really forces you to take a look at yourself. And so if you want to share with us your affirmations, we'd love to hear them. So if you want to post them, I'll say that on the post too.
Okay.
Cassie, anybody else, any last minute things? Okay, well, I just want to say to you all that this time together is super special to me. And I don't take it for granted that you're here. I'm not going to get emotional, although I've been doing that a lot lately. Well, why do I say lately? That's just who I am. That's just who I am. I always get emotional. And I just have such love and respect in my heart for you ladies because of your investment of time, money, being here. And I'm going to keep this study going a little bit longer because I want to make sure that I have done my part in adding value to you. And it's deeply meaningful to me. You showing up lets me live my dream. And I thank you so much. And if you're traveling to New Orleans, be safe out there. And those of us like Cassie and some of the other, I know Alyssa's not going. Some of the others are going. There might be 2 or 3 of us that are not involved in family reunion. If you guys want to meet and talk about affirmations and lifestyle next week, we will. And I'll post all that. So everybody take care. Reach out to me if I can help you with something.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies. Have a great week. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.